action.
Norad frustrated.
I really thought we were going to see a nail-biter here. It shows you what I know. I thought this was going to be a real tough, tenacious game. A lot of my friends, they were saying, are you kidding me? Louisville doesn't have a chance against Butler. They don't have a chance the way they execute and the way they defend. Oh, really? I want my buddies. I'm not going to call their names out. I want them to look at the score right now, and they better not tell me any more about the game of basketball, okay? All you my buddies that are listening right now that called me and told me that they didn't have a chance, I don't want to hear you talk basketball.
You need new buddies. Siva. Nice catch by Buckles. And he lost it. The freshman, Krishan Hopkins with the ball. A guy that Brad Stevens is very high on. Great speed, great agility.
Seems to have good handle, too.
Yep.
This Hopkins right there, wide open.
Short on the three. That is Alex Anglin, a walk-on, number 11, getting some time right now for the Bulldogs. Brad Stevens says, why not? Some of the other guys aren't playing well enough to deserve being in there.
This has to be one of the poorest performances, I would say, during the Brad Stevens tenure. I mean, they've had performances where they've been beaten, but this one here, I think they've been embarrassing. Coming here rated as they were.
This is a lineup you could never imagine Brad Stevens putting out there on the court, but he's just desperately searching for a combination of the work. They're giving up a lot of size right now. They got 4 guards in the game. Van Zandt called for the foul. It's a 20-point lead for Louisville. All right, Carl, looking forward to that back here at Louisville with Dick Vitale. I'm Dan Schulman, the Butler Bulldogs and the Louisville Cardinals, and all cards. A great team effort, very strong defense, balance from the Cardinals, and a 20-point lead.
Absolutely effective, really moving the basketball, sharing it. I should have called Carl up and asked him if he thought Price could win. Carl knows it with baseball tonight.
We'll find out tomorrow. Roy Halladay winning the National
Well, that was a lot.
Chris Smith to the line, and now for the Cardinals. Junior out of Millstone, New Jersey. We mentioned the younger brother of J.R. Smith of the Denver Nuggets.
He's an explosive player. You talk about J.R. Smith. He's been a little bit of an enigma, though, as a player.
A little inconsistent.
I mean, a little inconsistent.
Yeah. He can shoot you back into the game. He can shoot you right out of the game. But he's a talent. 1 of 2 for his little brother.
Well, about Miami, not enough size down there. They can have all those stars they want. You talk about winning the ring, they got to get a little size. How are you going to defend people when they play, say, the Lakers? So there's no shot.
And they're part of the ESPN NBA doubleheader on Wednesday night. The first game as they host the Phoenix Suns. Hopkins handling right now. Eric Fromm back into the game at number 4 for Butler. Wide open underneath. Matt Howard on the feed from Sean Van Zandt.
They had a little bit more ball movement there, a little more spark to their movement as players.
First field goal of the night for Howard.
Why he got foul trouble so early.
Jennings having a good night.
All these kids were vital factors in helping them go to that final game. So you know they got a sense of pride about themselves. So they know they're being humiliated out here. You better believe they're going to take it out on some other people. The next game is with Ball State.
A reaching foul, I think, on Curry for the Louisville.
Howard's possession was really created by some real good ball movement. He slid inside. Lack of communication by Louisville. They don't find him. He gets the lift. They say it was so dramatic at Hinkle Fieldhouse when they hung the band and the radio calls were played of the different radio calls and their wins. Yeah. Oh, they said it was really unbelievable as they put that banner up, national finalists.
I mean, it was an incredible story. Even in your wildest dreams, even if you're, within the program, Coach Brad Stevens and the players, you always think you can go out and win every game. But to accomplish what they accomplished last year, here's the banner being unfurled, as you talked about on Saturday, just prior to the opener of their season tip-off against Marion.
Everybody clapped in unison like they did in the movie Hoosiers, which took place the scene at Hinkle.
But you know what they've said, and a lot of teams say that. Now we move on, right? That was last year. They're not defending anything. They're pursuing something this year.
Well, you're listening a lot to Coach K. You're watching Access, the Duke team, because he talks about that. Yeah, he talks about that. We're not defending anything. Wow, Coach K's got a guy listening to him. I know one thing, they are flat out loaded. People get on my case. Are you going to talk about the Dukies? Yes, I'm going to talk about the Dukies. Why? Because they are America's premier team. And as I said on Mike and Mike this morning, those guys do a terrific job, and Mike brought it up to me. Hey, how good are they? If this was the NBA, the college season, no one beats Duke 4 out of 7. But there are a number of teams that can beat them in a one-game shot.
Who's the second best team in America, in your opinion?
Oh, you got to say Michigan State right now. I would simply say Michigan State. I think Gonzaga's going to be better. People think, I know everybody's talking about a Duke possible Kansas State matchup up there in Kansas City. But they got a tough one, Kansas State. They better not be thinking about Duke playing the Zags, who, by the way, have a tough one tonight with San Diego State, who could be one of those real sleeper teams.
And by the way,
they're crawling back.
It's down to 15. It was 15. Up in the 20s for a while, and there's still better than 10 minutes left in this game.
Crowd has gotten quiet too. Everybody seems to be silent in here. They smell the W. And Rick Pitino's getting a little bit anxious out there because the lack of execution is starting now to go to the Louisville side.
A lot of fouls in this half, too. 6 now on Butler, 8 on Louisville. A Cardinal turnover. Hopkins.
Nice pass.
Offensive foul, no basket. Brad Stevens livid.
That was a good call, though. He was flying up in the air. You're not going to get away with that. You're not going to get away with it. You're leaving your feet. He's outside that so-called mark they talk about. He's not even close to that. No foul.
Looked like he tried to avoid the contact there with Siva. Tried to slide around him, but kind of collided with his shoulder. It's the toughest call in the sport, block charge.
Oh, it's a tough call. We have a tough time calling. We get a second chance. I can't get over how quiet it is here.
And another whistle. And a kickball. Louisville keeps it. 55-40. The Cardinals, this is their season opener. Butler won its first game over Marion, an NAIA team. Won it easily on Saturday by 29.
And who plays for Marion? Todd Licklider's son, the former coach. He had a lot of success here, but he went out to Iowa. Struggled big time, obviously, out of Iowa. Lost his job. I think sometimes guys don't realize how fortunate they are where they're at. Sometimes you allow money to dictate. Jimmy Valvano said it the best. Never mess with happiness.
Yeah, maybe Brad Stevens was thinking about that when he signed that 12-year extension, and now they're tending to the right leg of Shelvin Mack, who's been by far the best player in the game for the Bulldogs tonight.
He's the best talent on the floor tonight.
Knowles, wide left.
Really sloppy now. Louisville really getting out of sync.
Maybe cramps the way they're working on both legs right now for Matt.
I'm not a doctor, Mr. Schulman, so I'll let you utilize your intellectual medical.
That's about as much as I got.
To a top 10 class without a doubt.
You said it last year. People better beat up on Indiana while they have a chance, because tables are going to turn in that regard, right?
Well, Tom Crean is such a great absolute fighters.
Marshall, no. Bothered by Jennings, and they play on, and now a foul on Stigall of Butler.
Just sloppy basketball being out here right now. To be honest with you, really sloppy basketball. I guess you expected new team for Rick Pitino, trying to get in sync. Good block right there, but really, right now, both clubs playing very, very ineffectively.
Both teams over the limit. Each team has committed 8 fouls already here in the second half.
I know a lot of people don't agree with me, and I respect their opinions. I do. I respect their opinion. I respect, for example, Mike DeCourcy before the game and Rick Bosich. We were all talking, Louisville economists, and they disagree with me, and I respect them. But I firmly believe college basketball starts too early, and I think that we lose too many great games because of all the talk with the Heisman, the BCS chatter, and I would like to see college basketball start right after Thanksgiving. But they make great points. Now you're suffocating, putting 30, 35 games within a shorter period of time, so I do understand that.
Hopkins dumps it down. Howard lays it in, and a foul.
See, that's what they need out of this club. They need that post play out of Howard. We saw zilch of that in the first half because he got in foul trouble. But you get a combination of Mack and Howard, and now you change the whole complexion of your offensive schemes.
The foul on Preston Knowles. Howard played only 4 minutes in the first half because of foul trouble. They need him to be a huge factor down the stretch and all season. They need the Howard of 2 years ago, not last year, if they're going to approach what they accomplished last season.
You know, it's amazing Virginia Tech gets blown out by Kansas State. A pull-in plays 2 minutes in the first half.
I don't know that any team plays harder in the country than Frank Martin's Wildcats.
Well, Bob Knight told me yesterday on the phone, we were talking, he said the one thing that impresses them about Kansas State is they're so physical and so tough on the inside.
Yeah, most other teams would say too physical. That they foul on every play. They certainly approach that line, but he's got a very talented team. The preseason pick to win the Big 12 is not Kansas, it's Kansas State.
You still got to go through Lawrence, baby. Yeah. Even though I really underestimated Kansas.
Stegall the miss. Siva the push. Offensive foul. And the Louisville crowd thinking that maybe the Butler player Stegall undercut Siva there, got underneath him, but the call goes Butler's way. But
that was an example of what Rick Pitino was talking to us about Siva before the game, about being out of control, and there was a perfect example of that.
And that's going to earn him some time on the bench. Andrew Smith in for Kyle Marshall for Butler. Number 4 on Siva.
I like this kid Justice, I really do. I think he's going to give him a great effort every night. Good quality, 12, 14 minutes a night off the bench.
Knowles knocks it away, and it's off Stegall to the Cardinals.
Stegall can't believe the call. Official made the right call. It was right in front of us. I can even see it with one eye. I mean, it's right in front of us. Now watch this. Oh, yeah, he definitely see the hand stick in there. Knocked out of bounds. You're not sure.
I'm not sure.
You're not sure.
I'm not sure. All right.
Doesn't matter.
I'm with you.
It doesn't matter.
I had other concerns. I was having Kyle Singler flashbacks to the ACC tournament from last year. I thought Preston Knowles was going to come flying into our laps.
Kyle Singler, everybody's preseason, probably player of the year. It's pretty nice though when you get a freshman like Irving, and Irving has the supporting cast of guys like Nolan Smith and Singler, where he doesn't have to come in and be that instant super like a Harrison Barnes has to be at North Carolina.
And Seth Curry's going to be a factor too.
Absolutely.
Hopkins the pull-up from the wing. And a Louisville foul.
Game is absolutely sloppy as can be right now. There is zero rhythm going on the floor.
Just a ton of fouls here in the second half, as you can see. And Smith to the line for Butler. Brad Stevens telling us this morning at shoot-around. Smith last year was the only new player in the program. They had 15 players, 14 returning players, and Smith. So every time they put something in or they taught something, everybody else had a head start on him, and he was playing catch-up all year. And he says the big fella is a lot more comfortable as a sophomore than he was last year.
Yeah, look at a lot more playing time. By the way, Butler, their success they've had, they were right in the hunt there for the kid Zeller.
Yeah.
Along in North Carolina as well. And in recruiting, finishing number 2 and number 3. It doesn't matter.